Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I am Pernigo, and I am here to bring you another Cosmonarchy cast. We have Newt locking horns with Oya. We saw this matchup in the most recent Weekend Wage, but before they duked it out there, they had combat. They had combat in the Tribunal stage. Newt has been, I would say, a solid Class 2 player, right? When it comes to Oya, obviously, might be our best player right now. If not, he's number 2 behind Aoud. And Aoud thinks that Oya is number 1, so, it's always a bit hit or miss on there. And I do tend to, I put on a pedestal those who have been here for longer, but I got to put on a pedestal as well the Starcraft 1 Pro. The Starcraft 1 Pro who's done a lot of action, right? That's the kind of thing where it's like technically his accomplishments in the RTS space are going to be way higher than anybody from our neck of the woods. Nonetheless, Newt is going to be rocking the mech opening, and he is going to be on Frosted Forest alongside Oya, our dark green Protoss, who selected this map, being the top-seeded player in the whole bracket. Newt, on the other hand, is actually seed number 5. It was predicted more so that Shambler would be making it past him. We saw a very hotly contested set between them, early game action all around, and Newt is in the bottom left as an interesting color. I guess this is Beaster Brown, but it's golden brown. It was one of those two. I knew that. All right, the Scribe's going to get in here in time to see that it is a Vulture start. I mean, I guess it won't see the Vulture. Hopefully, Oya will not see the Vulture with the Scribe, because that means it's probably dead. But a Dracodon is starting. He's got a second gateway here. Mason clocks it. Going to figure out what to do here. Frosted Forest, an original Cosmonarchy map. Not a port from StarCraft 1 or anything. We also have some StarCraft 2 ports that we're starting to fashion out. Oh, Oya's going to pocket the Scribe. That's kind of interesting. Oya doesn't typically do a lot of cheeky stuff until the mid-game. His early game is usually very steady, very stable. His play style is very straightforward, it feels like, a lot of the time. Vulture went deep enough to see whether or not the Mesa would be ransacked by a Legionnaire in the early game or something and had to be saved. Instead, just looking for that Scribe, actually. I think that's the main thing Newt's running around here for. But yeah, Oya is pretty tricksy with his movement. He gets it back safe, no problem. And he's going to go 2-gate into Rogue. We've actually seen Rogue Gallery be a part of Oya's build orders in general lately. He does like himself a Kabbalist, and obviously this is before the Vagrant durability buff on pre-release currently, as of the time of recording. We are still on the turning release patch, and we'll be syncing up those pre-release changes this Sunday, or Saturday, I guess, before I go on my vacation. I'll see how many pre-recorded videos I can get in the meantime done for you guys. I guess a casting bonanza is in order. So that you guys have some video content with which to enjoy whilst I am AFK. But I will say that the Vultures out from Newt and the Vagrants incoming, presumably from Oya, the interaction will be a little bit different on the new version of the game. That being said, the Dracodons are already getting up to their usual antics. It felt like maybe Newt could have dove and then also gotten some aggressive mines down. Oya's micro proving pretty resilient, doesn't end up dropping the Vulture. His new units on the rally will make ready to accept these incoming Vultures, and as long as you keep 3 alive, I love that Newt has, by the way, put in the low HP Vulture in the back. I would have loved to see him snipe that Scribe just because it means that Oya has to send a new one out to expand. We can see his minerals are a little bit too low to really do that, to really bother with that. Should get one more Scribe kill here, thankfully, and the Vulture mines are good. Plus, he also ends up scouting the Rogue Gallery, so that's very good for Newt, all things considered. He got 2 worker kills, could have had a third on that drive-by onto the guy making the natural, but now the question is, can he hold versus the onslaught of Zealot Dracodon on his way? I guess it's mostly just Dracodon. The 1 Zealot for mine clearing. The Kabbalist also, by the way, does not trip mines. Mines need detection to see hidden targets now. I mean, they don't blow things up in one shot either. They stun them instead. We don't have a lot. We do not have a lot here. So he's going to go ahead and drop the anchor. The Kabbalist Shimmer is there. But look, the gateway units are also here. And Newt's Vultures have to make a mad dash back home to have a chance in hell at defending. Cyclops are on the way. That Fulcrum was interrupted. The anchor is dead. No cancel. And the Ministry does end up finishing at the very least. So he can lift that off to relative safety. But this is squeaky bum time for our Terran. The Dracodons have come on through. Cyclops are trying to spread their damage, but you need way more Cyclops than this. I think he was setting up for a drop, but he didn't expect the Vultures, the mines that he laid earlier, to just be disrespected, to just be ignored. By the way, that Kabbalist is still getting kills over there. Now it comes in to help out versus the Vultures. There is just no meat to the army here for Newt. I think this is over already. GG. Newt, very adept at holding Alt and hitting Q, and then Enter, leaves as soon as he drops the GG. And that is a first win for Ouya. You know, I can't say that I'm too surprised. I mean, Newt did take some risks there, moving the vultures away, sort of banking on the idea that his opponent wasn't going to charge across the map. And sometimes Ouya just does that kind of thing. So first map to him, pretty unceremonious. Let's see what's behind game 2. Game 2 in our first semifinal matchup here in the Tribunal stage. And Newt is sending a Mason across the map. Punch Drunk is our map of choice. Newt really does enjoy this map. I know he also enjoys a bevy, so I wonder if it's the name that gets him or if he actually likes playing on the map. Maybe he can shed some light in the comments if he ends up watching this. I will also let you guys know what's been going on with the veto. We had Rage Slave banned by Ouya. Knife's Edge banned by Newt. He doesn't mind playing that map versus Zerg, but I guess versus Protoss he was not too interested. So this is going to be a forward double stockade proxy in the middle of the map. The idea here is that it's not really a 2/3 proxy, where you're committing to, say, at the 12 o'clock position and then hoping they're not bottom right. It is smack in the middle. But very seldom do you see cross scouts in Cosmonarchy in the current stage. So Newt is taking a calculated risk here, such that he will be able to find his opponents with the Masons that make the stockades. He'll probably send this guy top left, this guy bottom right, and then a Maverick to top right or something. And he'll just see how much damage he can get done in the early game. My concern here is that Protoss units in the early stages of the game are very resilient, and Newt may not have the requisite economy or production to outscale them to a heavy degree. Versus Zerg, I think this kind of thing makes a lot of sense. But versus Protoss, it can be sometimes held off at the pass just by one Drakodin microed really well, or one Hierophant played very well, and it will indeed be a Drakodin that will be going first. Also, a little bit curious because I don't think... Well, actually, if you look at the way that this scribe is pathing, it's just naturally taking this path towards the bottom left. Had Ouya spawned in like the top right, and then, well, I guess I don't really know how that would have worked. But I'm imagining Ouya could have found this proxy by like pathing from top right to top left. I guess if he had scouted that way first, he would have just found his opponent and immediately foiled his plans. Now we've got double Drakodin. He gets deep enough to see the Ministry and no production structure, and I assure you, he is very perplexed. Or he's actually moving to the top left. Maybe he didn't get deep enough. Actually, we got a Mason pull here. It's a lot of Mavericks. Okay, the Drakodin will find the stockade, but it's also his first combat unit. Oh, he has seen it now in the middle. He's going to come back down, and what does he want to do with it? Somehow Newt hasn't seen it or responded. He's just like, no, that's fine. Everything will be fine. Warden in the mineral line. Oh, this is going to get dirty. He's brought 6 SCVs with him. Yeah, 6 Masons, plus the 2 that made the original round. He's got 8 Masons here. He's just going to continuously produce Mavericks. If I'm him, I'm also considering banking. Oh my god, he took almost all of his Masons away. He only has 5 back at mining. A couple more come back in. The pylon wall is going to be pretty brutal. This high ground advantage is going to help out a lot. Plus there's the Warden, and a 3rd Drakodin is on the way to, 4th Drakodin actually, on the way to come in here. Let's see, he was zoned away from putting together that pylon, but now the Mavericks have to come in single file. Oh, they're blocked by the Masons. Okay, let's see, he sprung the leak. There's 4 Drakodins, man, that's a lot of Drakodins, and they're still getting hung up on that pylon. Heroic moves in the wall, and now there's more Drakodins than there are Mavericks, it feels like. Sure, you got the Masons, but I don't think this is gonna work. Oh, poor Newt. I thought he would be constructing forward anchors or something, but it is not to be. And then Scribe has found him too. GG. Okay, well, those were some fast opening matches, man. My God. I guess we're going to be going down memory lane here. This might actually be the fastest best of 5 that we have. All right, guys, let's see. Let's see what's behind game 3, which I believe is Patadia, if I'm not mistaken. Yes, Patadia selected for map 3. Let's see. All righty. All eyes on Ouya, as apparently Newt is now going to have to do what Arbuz did to Shopkeeper Dog. Reverse sweep to stay in the tournament. It is elimination point for him, and Ouya is on Grand Finals qualification point. And we're only, what, like 10 minutes into this video? Not even 10 minutes into this video, guys. If you... Our last video is like over an hour long. This one might not cross 15. And you guys are going to look at this. Imagine if every game was like that. You guys look at the match length or whatever, the video length, and you're like, is this like game 1? Did he forget to upload the other games or something? No, I swear to God, I did not do that. Well, just on the off chance that we make it to map 4, it will be Crisis Vector, which Oya is very adept at. So interesting Newt picking for his own comfort, of course, with Battle Spectre being our decider, should we need it. A very interesting map there to select. Acid Test was Oya's second round ban, Mass Destruction, Newt's second round ban. Normally, I withhold some of those veto details, as I discussed in the Arbiz Shopkeeper Dog series, but in this particular case, I decided it might be prudent. It might be the last time we talk about this series, the way that it's going. Masons are gonna, or workers are gonna meet each other in the middle. We got the 2-gate, we got the Fulcrum again for Newt. First game, it felt like it was dropped due to some unfortunate consequences there. The second game, on the other hand, I mean, I just don't know. I don't know. That one was dropped because he decided to proxy 2 stockade in the middle of the map, and we don't know how to... I guess it really... Thinking about it, that pylon wall probably did do a lot. It stopped the Masons from being able to surround the Drax, and it stopped the Mavericks from being able to actually engage in, and then a lot of the DPS was wasted on the pylons. So I guess, yeah, that probably was the major thing, but I don't know if it would have worked even without that. You know what I mean? So that's kind of where I'm at with that. 2 Folk start. He's actually cutting military off of the first Folk so that he can produce out of the second, I guess. I don't know. He had the money, so maybe it was just a mistake. Vulture moving to the top right. Mason might park itself at the 4 o'clock position. It's a good spot to build an anchor and then airlift. I guess this is a more straightforward angle that your opponent is still not very likely to see, so it might be fine to build it there if he wants to be cheesy. Newt is normally, you know, he calls himself a macro player, but he does have some doubts about the Terran race, I think. It's interesting, right? Because, you know, some of our Terran players are some of the most morose motherfuckers that I've ever met. They're just like, yeah, playing Terran is kind of hopeless. There's no joy in life. I just lose to all the other races that have good units. You know, like that's the vibe that I get from a lot of them. And, you know, I hope that's just like their personality trait. I would hate for my game to depress people. That's not really why I'm in the business of making games. You know what I mean? I'm not trying to make people cynical motherfuckers and jaded and absolutely lifeless. That's not really my goal. Oya is going to go ahead and drop a Nexus down here in the bottom right. Oh, but I don't even think I got to do color guesses in that second game because it went by so fast. I didn't even think about it, but it does seem like we are I've seen this is chestnut, saddle brown Terran. Okay, that's pretty close to chestnut. I'm pretty sure I saw that color on Zerg recently. And then obviously, oh yeah, down here in the bottom right, he could be any number of colors. I'm gonna say Alice blue, but it was arrow. I almost thought his color said none. Arrow's pretty small as a little string there. Pretty close enough color too to blend in. All right, we've got the embassy. So Oya is already going to be going for that Dracodon Mine build. And there's a lot of vultures here. Okay, I think what I'm seeing here is... I have not actually seen this build before. But this looks to me like it's going to be the... It's actually a 3-Folk variant of this. So this is more aggressive than I thought it was originally. I actually initially thought this was going to be the 2-Folk vault, make 18 vultures off of 2 fulcrums, and then get tier 2 at 5 minutes. You know, this is paired with an expansion, of course, for the extra gas. But just make vultures, make nothing else, because you bank your gas for tier 2. Newt's going to do a 3-Folk variant, which means way more vultures and a star pad. But it also means that he's delaying his expansion for quite a considerable amount of time until he decides to cut on it. So he's got a lot of vultures. He's going to see about diving forward and seeing about punking these Dracodons. He is just going to go ahead and do a straight-up fight. I think making some mine laying here could help out quite a bit, but he is kind of just cycling away. Now that the Hierophant passive is active, it feels like it's a little bit harder to make matters swing for the Terran favor. He's got more vultures coming down, but it looks like only 2 by the minimap. And when the mines are this ubiquitous, he can just go after the worker count. But remember, Oya has a second Nexus, so this almost doesn't matter that much. Envoy on the way as well. Looks like Newt's going to be on the receiving end of some significant drop attack sort of things. And now the reinforcement vultures come in and raid the front base. So Oya is, you know, his stuff has been thrown into chaos. I wonder about picking the Hierophant earlier. It has less armor as well, so it goes down easier. Now he sees the Envoy, so he stuck around long enough for that sort of thing to happen. That's actually pretty good, pretty nifty. Gonna lay some more mines, cause some more frustrations. More vultures have swooped on in the meanwhile. Still no expansion for him. He has his Mason over at the expansion, but no natural has actually been placed just yet. Ends up getting stunned on everything. Vultures in the main have been cleaned up in the meanwhile. Still 9 vultures. Honestly, if he just targets the Hierophant down with the next round, he could do a lot. Now, there's 3 Draconids inside the Envoy. He's going to cause some problems. He's got nothing coming out of the Fulcrum. He's got to evacuate the Masons. His vultures decide to scream back up towards the main base. Oh, dear. Well, I guess maybe we will narrowly cross that 15-minute mark, but guys, I am not seeing a great way back for Newt. His second ministry is started. He's losing some significant Mason amount, and the shuttle, the Envoy, can just scoop these units up again, right? Like, there's nothing that the vultures can do. They cannot shoot back up. A single Goliath is being made. The Masons are returning back home, and now all the vultures are basically guaranteed to work out here. Now, the Antseal does pose some kind of response here. Move out might be threatened. I was going to say, like, the fact that the 3 Dracodins were in the Envoy make a lot of sense, because when you look at this kind of thing, you don't think to yourself, oh, yeah, that makes a lot of sense. That army is the size that it should be. Like, Oya was missing units, and yeah, he sure was. He sent them into the enemy base. Now he's going to be up by 15-odd workers. Vultures cycling through. Doesn't look like they're going to be able to do too much. Feels like 1 Goliath isn't enough to snipe the Envoy either. But do you overcommit and build too many? There's a question there as well. On pre-release, they have a pretty nice durability buff, but I don't actually know if it makes a humongous difference. I was also debating whether or not to increase their movement speed a little bit. But, you know, I already did that with Blackjacks, and people don't think they're very good, so what can you do, man? What can you do? Slowly, gently buff every Terran unit until it's really good. Third base is being set up. It is spotted out by the vultures. This is honestly like a really stable way to escalate into this game, if you think about it. Because all he's really doing is saying, like, yeah, I'm gonna just out macro you. I'm gonna build more stuff than you, and see what I can do. Poke and prod at the edges. Another witness. A lot of witnesses being made. Pulls a bunch of workers off of the minerals inside the main base for an interesting reason. I guess he's transferring over to the third base, actually. All right. Scouting that, Newt decides to throw down the gauntlet and throw down the third ministry. Soon I won't be able to say that seriously, because throw down the gauntlet will refer to the Ascozi structure, the tech structure. Ascozi gauntlet. Coming soon to a game near you. 4 Goliaths. All right. He's positioned himself to post a drop pretty well, but that's a lot of resources spent on that. Now, his gas is floating pretty high, so pretty soon he'll actually be able to tier up. And from there, you can do a lot. I think after your Atlas is done and you drop a Palladium, that can be pretty useful. I don't know how he's going to take and hold the third base. I'd recommend this one out here. This one's not actually that much more attractive. It's not like it has a 2-gas, like 2 geyser situation or something. Which would be even more of a win condition for Oya, come to think of it. But the reason why I think about the double geyser is it is a more valuable base, considering it's more vulnerable. But on this map on Patadia, which is another Cosmonarchy original, it doesn't really quite feel like this one is any less vulnerable, to be fair. I guess, I don't know. There's not really an obvious third base to take. Like, there's pros and cons to either one. Probably very map state dependent, which is pretty interesting. All right, the Dracodin drop is dead. The Envoy is dead. Some vultures are going to be able to find the one part of the containment here that's being set up by Oya, and he will batter back the several mines, the field of mines. No Palladium here yet, so I'm not really entirely sure how Newt intends to stay alive here. Some mines will stall out his potential demise. The Antseal protecting a little bit, also revealing the witness. There's so many witnesses, dude. Oh, you will not lose because of lack of detection. That much is very, very clear. Oh, okay, we're going to start to see Matadors be added. That's interesting. Making Masons out of the third ministry. Dude, look at the worker count for Oya, though. Already almost double. He's got his 4th base on the way, his 5th base on the way as well. Man's double expanding behind this pressure. And the tier 2. Huh? Didn't this get started a while ago? Am I crazy? I'm pretty sure I clicked on this and after the minimap ping. Did it get interrupted? Did he pause? Because I don't see any rubble from a cancel by mistake or something. Dude, I don't know what's going on there, but the Atlas is definitely supposed to be done by now. I was just going to check in with it and see, like, hey, what's the timing on that? Maybe I'm going crazy. You guys can leave in the comments. I'll also check back afterwards, but that is wild. While Oya is taking 2 bases, adding double unitary union inside the main base, inevitably going to be going up to Asilians to Unars. I think we are going to end up seeing some battle, some shenanigans, and we're going to have to see what Newt wants to do with Tier 2, which is, yeah, again, I feel very late. I feel something might have gone wrong there. Anseal's going to try to protect the Matadors on the move out. This might be a point of strength for Newt. He needs to get himself into a position of power. We all can see that very much. And, you know, to his credit, he's going up against a Protoss that's double expanding. Their army is going to be a little bit weaker. That is definitive. He might end up committing to catch these Dracodons over here. The Anseal's not quite in position to shield the Matadors on their way through, but it doesn't matter too much right now. The Ministry on base number 3 ends up leaving. Captaincies, the Goliath's still protecting the main base instead of being with the army. Only got 1 Goliath here to play anti-witness. Vultures have to cycle back. Now is the time to mount a defense from the 3rd base. Masons are rotating down. We got more Matadors coming as well. The Anseals, their shields will be tested. Their faith will be tested. But there's a lot of Matadors here to try to help out. It's just that there's not a lot of firepower, right? The Matadors are kind of like slightly augmenting how powerful Vultures are. But yeah, Newt sees the writing on the wall and lifts the Ministry preemptively. He does not want to deal with that right now. 15 Dracodons, man. Oya is making gateway units. Look at this. Look at all the stuff he's got back at home. Maybe that's why his army was under strike. Double Unar on the way. Making Servitors, making Dracodons. Newt, on the other hand, is building Apostles. He wants to get to that death stack. The deathless stack. Unars can not... Let's see here. They deal 105 base damage. The Apostle has more health than that, surely. No, it doesn't. Okay. There you go. For some reason, I thought it had like 110. Well, now you know. Now you know. The Apostle can just be targeted by a Unar and erased from the game. And there it is. A monument of sin, baby. 6th base on the way here in the bottom right. The 4 o'clock position now belongs to Oya. You can see him cycling around looking for any other base. He knows his opponent is on 2 bases only. What a crushing way for Oya to punch his ticket into the grand final. Looking like the heavy favorite. We saw Top Ramen versus Sausage earlier. We're going to need to see Top Ramen versus Arbuz in the 2nd semifinal to decide who's going to make it. This might be the beginning of the end. Let's see if Newt can change our mind. His Tier 2 is starting to leverage itself. His Apostles are in the back and untargeted, unchallenged. But the Unars are still helping to chip away through the Goliaths. The efficiency isn't quite there for Oya. He still has plenty of gateway units. Strigas, a Siren. Mantles being added here. If we can get to Ramsey's tech, I guess he still needs a steady way to apply armor rend. I know that Shopdog has been saying that you can go like Ramses, Durandal, Autocrat, or Autocrat Striga, Ramsey, something like that. It ends up being pretty good. I guess Cataphracт could also help out. Ha 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 ha! The Monument of Sin number 2 has been started. He's not going to make anything with it just yet. He's not going to make anything with it just yet. Just more servitors, etc. Just added more and more and more. What does he want to do with it, I wonder? I'm still waiting for his camera to pan over there. All right, everything on the table here. And it's not much from Newt's side, but he does snipe another witness. Keeping Oya at large. Star Sovereign on the way, of course. Oya's preferred tactic. I think when Shopdog plays Protoss, he usually likes... Oh, no, we've seen Oya do it, too. I was going to say, yeah, the Anthelion. All right, let's see what we can have here. We're going to have a little bit of those Protoss armies pulled towards the Apostles, courtesy of the Sirens. Might help out a little bit. You can see some Zealots starting to be reanimated. I'm a little bit concerned, though. I still don't see a whole lot of... otherwise, any chaff in any other capacity. He chews through a few of the Protoss units. He loses a lot of Goliaths. Those are the 4 that were defending in his natural or his main base here. Tried to lift and land his 3rd base, but it will get out. It's just not really, not quite it, you know, not quite it. Makes landfall. Burning. The first Star Sovereign has arrived. I know we've only just recently started adding those sound effects for like the operation of bases, but you guys just know the Star Sovereign construction deployment sound or whatever is going to be pretty baller. Maybe some units should just straight up have banter lines that they play, where they play their ready sound globally for all to hear if you happen to be panning over there. I don't know. There's something about it. There's a little bit of aura there. Not harvesting from that 2nd sedum, but dude's got so many bases, does it even matter? Going up to 8 base Protoss. He's really taking his time, man. I think what he wants, if I had to speculate, he probably wants to get a glassing off. That can be kind of dangerous. You can end up getting your Star Sovereign reanimated by Terran wizardry. Let's see what Newt can do. I mean, Reclaimers are good, don't get me wrong. I don't think they're this good, boys. That's a lot of Protoss to deal with. The Star Sovereign might not even get there in time for the family photo. Newt falling all the way back. He has a couple of units desperately thrown in. Still refusing to go for the Star Sovereign glassing move. I kind of like that move personally because the Sirens pull it towards you while it's glassing and stuff. It's still pretty good. You can let them reposition your Star Sovereign for you. Yeah, when you see that as the Terran, you must be feeling pretty dire. Cataphract goes down, soon to be reanimated, but the Star Sovereign's coming in at an upper arc as the ground army is keeping it engaged. Look at that. Look at what you have wrought. Oh, he actually pops it before it can go down. But there's no more Reclaimer. He can't steal it. He can't take it for himself. The zombified Star Sovereign has been denied from us. We've seen zombified Demiurge. But we have not seen zombified Star Sovereign. Some things are just too profane to be shown on stream or on video. Double Star Sovereign. 2 earmarked for the main base, yeah. I mean, Oya could have just crashed in and A-moved, but he's decided to play with our feelings, play with our hearts, and I mean, will Newt even let him get a glassing off? Will Newt even let him get the glassing off? That's what I want to know. And does he do both at the same spot, or does he move one of them up? No, yeah, let's say he's pretty good about it. We got the glassing, boys. This is how it feels to play against Oya. Goodbye, son. Goodbye. Newt, you gave us a brave and valiant effort, especially in Game 3. I have heard that there was apparently a banger that did hash, unfortunately, so that was unresolved. They had to replay it, and that's what we got. It was also on Patadia. Apparently, Patadia just made the best games for these 2 guys. We also had a really good one on Weekend Wage before I had to go to work. So, shout out. But Oya punches his ticket in the single elim bracket directly to the grand final. He has yet to drop a map. I'm not so sure that any Terran can make it happen. If Top Ramen makes it over Arbuz Budesh, well, he's got some serious things to do to try to get one over on the Starcraft 1 Pro. And if it would be really kind of funny if Ramen is the one to make it over Arbuz, because then we'd be looking at a situation where Oya, assuming he beats Ramen, would qualify facing only Terran players. We would not see his versus Zerg or his versus Protoss in the whole bracket. But Arbuz can still make that a reality. He can still make one over onto Top Ramen. We'll be getting that match played on Wednesday. And maybe it'll also be cast the same day, in which case you will see that on Thursday. However, if the timing doesn't quite work out on the playing or the casting, you might see some other matches interspersed between this and our second semifinal and our grand final of the Tribunal stage. Thanks for joining us. Remember to support the Show Match Initiative through donating at streamlabs.com/pronago. And I will see you guys in the next Cosmonarchy video. GG.